Order, please. This regular meeting of the Joshua Basin Water District Board of Directors for November 1 is now in session at 17:30 hours, 5:30 p.m. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. The flag is just right there. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Determination of a quorum. General Manager Johnson, a roll call, please.
President Cohen,
Present.
Vice President Doolittle.
Here.
Director Fick,
Here.
Director Short,
Here.
Director Dalsberg,
Absent.
Absent.
Excused absence, yeah, okay.
Hello. Directors are present in the boardroom with the exception of Director Jarlsberg. There is no request for remote participation. We have a quorum. Approval of the agenda. Do I hear a motion to approve this evening's agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you very much.
I'll second.
And thank you too. All in favor of approving this evening's agenda, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion approved. Public comment time. This time is for members of the public to provide comments on any district-related matter, whether appearing on the agenda or not. Under provisions of the Brown Act, the board is prohibited from taking action on items not listed on the agenda. At the discretion of the board president, comments on particular agendized items may be deferred until that item is heard. Is there a public comment, please? Hearing none. General Manager Johnson, is there any other communications, written, electronic, etc.?
none to my knowledge.
Thank you very much. Public comment time is closed. Item 5, consent calendar items are expected to be routine and non-controversial to be acted upon by the board one at a time, or at one time, excuse me, without discussion. If a board member would like an item handled separately, it will be removed from the consent calendar, the consent agenda for separate action. We have one item on the consent calendar. It's the draft board meeting minutes for October 18. Does anyone want to remove this item from the consent calendar? Hearing none. Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar? Do we do that?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
I'll second.
Thank you very much. There is no item 6. Presentations are for informational purposes only on subjects not covered by the agenda. No action will be taken. 7A, first item is public outreach report presented by Kathleen Radnich, Public Information Consultant.
Happy November. What month? The 11th one. Almost done with the year. I want to give you a recap of the public outreach program that we are now in the 11th month, and just mostly for what we're doing out with the public. It's very involved and it's not limited to these items, but this is what we've done this year so far. And I will start with January. We covered our capital improvement and replacement program and impressed upon our community. Now, mind you, this was before the rate increase. We were impressing upon them, what does that mean to our community? Where is this taking us if we spend this money and we install all this pipe and repair things? So that month was very, I mean, we have lots of interaction there. So it was a good display. I have to thank Ops over here and his team because they gave me stuff to work with so that we could say the right story with the right information and data. February was careers in water. March, water conservation with native plant gardening. April, we cover water for emergencies because it's California Earthquake Preparedness Month. May, water conservation, the desert tortoise wing. Of course, it's one of our hardest months because Everyone wants to see baby tortoises, and that's what we have out there, but it certainly opens up dialogue for water conservation. In June, we cover hydration for good health. In July, understanding our aquifer water resources, and that's when we impress upon the new CCR Consumer Confidence Report we give out at that time. Although it's always available year-round at our booth. August, it's the benefits of rain harvesting. Sometimes we don't have much rain, but when we do, it can come in deluges, and we try to help people understand it's legal here, we can do it, and how for their landscape watering, and that helps them cut back on their tap water use. In September, we do water for emergencies again, but this is because it's National Preparedness Month. So twice a year, we hit our customers and our community with preparedness for water in the event it stops. Then October, we just finished, and that was protecting our groundwater. And that is not, you know, don't put drugs down the toilet, ways of not dumping oil, using the hazmat every third Saturday collection place for things we don't want the water, and they don't want to be drinking once it gets in the water. Now this month, November, we're doing winterizing. I'll get back to that, but I want to say in December, then we do water saving holiday gifts. And this has kind of been what we do year round. So every month it's something different. It encourages our customers to come through and stop once a month. If it was the same thing every month, I think I'd make President Clone start tap dancing or something for them to entertain. But anyway, that being said, for November, I want to encourage everyone not to take this lightly, because it is a very big deal for both our water district and the customer. Obviously, unprotected pipes are susceptible to cold temperatures because water expands when it goes from liquid to solid. This is a given. Imagining now your water pipes knowing that they weaken every year with age. Imagine this. You've had no problems up to this point, but every year they're getting weaker and weaker. Most of them. The new homes are built with different pipes, but the old ones have pipes that fall apart. So a gallon of water, when frozen, will expand to a volume of 9% greater than the original gallon. Now, picture the water is in your pipe and it's not protected. So ice blockage becomes more likely when outside temperatures drop to below freezing. This can happen very rapidly out here. Even though we have a 40-degree temperature swing, when it drops, and if those pipes are exposed, you can get ice forming in the pipe. So a cold wind reaching unprotected pipes quickly removes heat and increases the chance of ice formation in the pipe. So that being said, trying to prevent this from happening, keep your garage doors closed. If there are water pipe lines in the garage, and best bet, make sure they're wrapped if you can get them wrapped. And then open kitchen and bathroom cabinet doors. If you have, like, say, a cabin with water plumbing and it's not well insulated, you don't want to keep the heat running. These are that in mobile homes. They tend to be the most susceptible to this. But if you open the kitchen and bathroom cabinet doors to allow warmer air to circulate around the plumbing, that helps. And of course, be sure to move any harmful cleaners or household chemicals should you have children in the residence. When the weather is very cold outside, let the cold water drip from the faucets served by exposed pipes. Now, I have a problem with this one because usually they leave it right there. What I suggest is, if you've got water trickling out of the pipe to keep it from freezing, put a bucket underneath it. Save that water and use it for landscape or cleaning or whatever. Don't just run the water. And that's what they never put in wherever you read about winterizing. Keep the thermostat set to the same temperature both during the day and at night. By temporarily suspending the use of lower nighttime temperatures, you may incur a higher heating bill, but you can prevent a much more costly repair job, because most broken pipes, according to insurance data, rarely are less than $10,000 in damage for the minimal ones. That's significant. And should people be watching this, I hope they hear this much, but also take our winterizing class because it covers a lot more. This is specifically related to water. And the season is here upon us. So just a note though, if you had to thaw a frozen pipe, turn on a faucet and if only a trickle comes out, suspect that you do have a frozen pipe, and likely any pipes anywhere else in the house could be frozen too. If you have one that's frozen, chances are you could have others because the ice will start forming. So keep the faucet open as you treat the frozen pipe with the frozen area. As it melts, you want the water to be able to flow through it, not out the hole, creating a mess. And the running water going through the pipe actually helps melt the ice even further. Apply heat to the section of the pipe using an electric heating pad wrapped around the pipe, an electric hairdryer or a portable space heater. Do not use flammable materials. Or go ahead and wrap pipes with towels soaked in hot water. That sounds pretty labor intense to me, but whatever works. Okay, and then apply heat until full water pressure is restored. If you're unable to locate where the pipe is frozen or get it cleared, you then have to hire a licensed plumber. But these were tips and tricks prior to you spending that money. We're trying to help our customers do this on their own. Lastly, stop by the farmer's market this month because we will have various wrapping materials and tips and tricks on what you need to know when you're purchasing things. And you don't always have to buy materials to wrap your pipes. Sometimes you've got things at home that work as well for free. Lastly, if you want to take the winterizing class, you can register by going to our newsletter online. And just a reminder that Veterans Day, Thursday, November 9th, that's the date that Joshua Basin Water District will be observing the holiday. So we will be closed for regular customer service, but in the event of a water emergency, 24/7, please call our regular phone number. Also Thanksgiving Day, the same thing. We will be closed though Thursday, November 23rd. And by the way, I don't want to steal your thunder. Are you going to talk about Lewa? Yeah. Yes, no? You're talking about. Well, I'm not going to say much, just that we're on number 4, the low-income household water assistance program with the county, which has been so successful. And we are having another morning day with donut and coffee, I guess. Thank you. That will be November 16th, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. We've had such a good response. It feels good to be able to help our customers. It really does. So thank you. Do you have any questions?
Yes, I have. What is the frost line here in Joshua Tree? How many inches?
Well, it depends on which storm is coming through.
Well, for the safety's sake, if let's say I want to build a house, how deep do I need to put my water line so it keeps from freezing?
2 feet minimum from the expert. It doesn't get there. So you lower it, you're gonna dig 2 feet down,
2 feet,
minimum.
fantastic.
Something, just from personal experience, mostly you mentioned pipe, but also if on the exterior, the faucet hose bib is technically what they're called.
Yes,
They will freeze and they will also explode.
that's right. That's a lot of that is covered in the winterizing class. I was just thinking if anyone's watching this meeting because they're not here, but they may tune in later, I wanted to have just some of the basics for water because it really gets busy in winter when we hit the freezing temperatures and we get a lot of our guys going out in the cold, the very, very cold, trying to fix some of these pipes or helping customers who aren't even there turning off their meter water service because it's on their property and we're not really able to go there, but we at least try to help them out when we find out there's a major leak. So
I just have one thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Kathleen, I attended that excellent propagation class, the Zoom. Yes, it was so good. And thank you for setting that up and for all the things that you do. You do so much for the district. I was wondering, to me, it would be, I think, a great resource if this Zoom thing was archived on the web. You know what I mean? Because you can easily record it. It's very easy to record it and then you
It
can
is
post it.
recorded,
Mhm.
and Mojave is trying to do
Okay.
that. However, Mojave's standards are really challenging.
Oh,
Our instructor is very knowledgeable, but he tends to be very casual. They want it. There's a lot of editing happening right now.
okay.
And the last few classes, we had serious technology issues.
Oh, okay.
So I think this last class might end up on Mojave's website because it did go very well. We didn't have the glitches. We had glitches at 4 p.m. but we fixed those.
Wow.
So again, it's not my technology, it's their end. It's the Mojave Desert Resource Conservation District
Okay.
who is hired to run the class, and it's their technology. So their goal was, Mojave Water Agency's goal is to have those classes libraried on the website. So just letting you know, that's the plan. And this course, actually winterizing, is now, they've always been funded by Mojave. But now they're taking it onto their ownership of it. And so even though we're presenting it, they own it. So that'll be up to them. Okay. Any other questions? No? Great.
Thank you very much. Item number 8 is our action calendar. Appointment of new Citizens Advisory Council members, presented by General Manager Sarah Johnson.
Good evening. Tonight we have 2 public members that have submitted an application for membership to our CAC. You should have both of those applications in your packet, and I'll introduce each of them, have them come up and talk a little bit about themselves, introduce themselves, and give you the opportunity to ask them some questions. So we'll start tonight with Mr. Fred Jarosz. Close. Correct me, please.
First day in Marine Corps boot camp. My drill instructor calls out Jarvis. No. Then he calls Jarosz, definitely. And he spells my name. As I ran past, he kicks me. I took 5 air steps. I answer to anything.
It's a pleasure to have you here tonight. Thank you. If you could tell us a little bit about yourself, and then our board will be asking you just a couple of questions afterwards.
All right, Reader's Digest version. I was a Marine. Well, I call myself a dumb Marine. I was a radar computer technician. And I was stationed in Hill 69 in Da Nang, controlling aircraft over Hanoi. Anyway, I've been out here living in Joshua Tree and Yucca since 1973, since I got out. I lived, actually I worked in LA. However, I maintained my house here in Joshua Tree. And I've been living here since then. And currently, as you mentioned, I do own a business, not a public business. I subcontract to NASA. And please don't ask questions because everything in there is classified secret. So, anyway, I think my business background will help. And as you may have already found out, I'm a very shy and bashful person. And I don't mind a challenge. If I see something wrong, I will definitely speak up. Side note, after the Marine Corps, I was a sworn member, a deputy sheriff for San Bernardino County. And I was stationed in 29 Palms before they moved it to Joshua Tree. So, Reader's Digest version. Any questions, please?
Thank you. We appreciate all of that. So, Mr. President Flowen.
Vice President Doolittle.
Hi, Fred. Thank you so much for being willing to participate in your water district in this way. I was wondering here on the bottom, you just mentioned I have proposed to the board on the water reclamation system for JT. I'm wondering what you meant by that sentence.
Well, I need to a little bit further. But Kathleen, help me out. When was the last time we had that meeting here about the sewer systems? About 2 years ago?
At least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, about 2 years ago, I came and I proposed that instead of having Yucca Valley and Joshua Tree separately, why don't we combine front of the hospital there's a dry lake. It would be very beneficial since the water flows downhill. I was not asleep in all of my engineering classes. We would get the benefit of the water because it would coagulate right here, seep into the ground, and Joshua Tree eventually, to my estimates, about 10 years, it will get the water out of it for free. Okay.
Okay, all right, okay, thank you. And I assume you found out about this from being at the farmer's market. Is that right? Or from, no, oh, okay.
No,
No, he's never come.
correction, I came drink some water at the farm.
Oh, okay. Well, yes, I was just wondering how you found out about this.
Well, actually, I have known Kathleen for several years.
Oh, okay.
And she knows well that I also belong to the theater. And she mentioned the fact that, hey, we need somebody over there. And she knows how shy and bashful I am. So she recommended that I do. And again, I have an opinion and I don't mind sharing it.
All right, thank you. That's all from me. President
you.
Flowers.
Director Short?
So what is your understanding of how the CAC works?
Well, you have a responsibility to maintain a clean, viable water to our citizens. Not like, I just read an article back in Minnesota that they found all sorts of nasty stuff in the water, and people that have been exposed to HIV, they're killing them. They're just dropping over dead. And for as far as I know, there is no cure for it. And looking at your reports and everything like that, I have to admit, and I have not seen any derogatory reports on your chemical analysis. Does that answer your question?
Yes. See, let's say that you have a disagreement with a board member or a member of the CAC. How would you go about resolving it?
I will not go out in the parking lot and fist fight. No,
Probably could.
okay, last resort. No, I believe in a fair discussion. My point of view, your point of view, compromise.
That's all I got.
Thank you very much. Director Fick?
Most of my questions would have been answered by this. I can volunteer the fact that your comment towards reclamation system. Right now, the water is mounting right at the border of Joshua Tree on the west side. That's what's happening with the recharge of the water that they treat in Yucca Valley. And the idea that, well, actually they went even further in 1980, it was strongly suggested that the two water districts merge and have all the water go down to the dry lake area, which is a bit further than the hospital, but that's what the scheme was.
Well, hospital is just an example.
Yeah, so, but that would have been a 20-mile sewer line, so that didn't go very far on that one. It was, I could bring in a lot of politics, but that's not for here.
You know,
A lot of politics.
some people just insist on reinventing the wheel.
Mhm.
I know. I deal with NASA. So, does that answer your question?
Somewhat, yeah,
Are you done, David?
I'm done.
Okay. Well, and the last one, so I heard plenty. I mentioned before the meeting that our mission statement and our values, which are on the wall over here and also on our agenda. Do you have any issues of any kind with what our mission statement says and what our values are?
I'm sorry, I don't know if you guys are familiar with ISO, International Standard Order 2000. I have my company that I work for or own is a certified ISO certified company. You guys hit that thing right on spot.
Yeah, I saw the parallel.
Yes.
In your application for the record here. That's all that's all I have. Do I have any other public comment of any kind? Hearing none, shall we vote singly or as a group?
It can be as a group.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
General Manager Johnson.
All right, thank you very much. For the next gentleman, I'd like to introduce, and you're gonna have to forgive me for the name pronunciation, but there it is. But you go by Ari.
Yeah.
Yes,
I think
okay.
Already is pronounced. Step up to
Yes,
the-
please come up and introduce yourself. Thank you. Thank you for being here tonight.
Hello, thank you. My name is Ari Zelli. I guess if you want a little bit of history, born and raised Southern California, went to school in Cal State Northridge. And have been living here in Joshua Tree for over 6 years now. Run a little startup that does ecological design and build and some other technology items. Short and sweet.
Vice President Doolittle.
Hi, Ari. Thank you so much for being here and for your interest in participating in the water board. I appreciate that. What were you doing? What kind of work were you doing before you did this eco design and build work that you're doing here now in Joshua Tree?
I was an account manager at the world's biggest logistics firm in Los Angeles.
Okay.
I was doing some corporate sales for them.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, great. And what is your interest in, I'd like to know, what is your interest in participating in the district?
Certainly, yeah. I've always been fascinated with the systems of a city, water, sewage, electricity, and how all that works. I became even more interested when I came up here and I did some of the water tours, the water district, the tours of the whole system. And I really realized that there was no life up here without water. We could do things for electricity and septic tanks, but water is important. So I had a little interest. Still being rolled into being recommended into applying for this.
Okay. And I just have one more question. So you're already, employed full time. I'm not retired or anything. So, but you think you have time for this work? This participation? Yeah, the CAC.
For the advisory council?
Yeah.
Looking at the requirements, yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That's all for me.
Director Short.
I'm gonna ask the same questions I did previously. What's your understanding of the CAC?
A group of citizens who live in the area who have an interest, get together and make recommendations to you all, the board. To make recommendations.
Okay, and if you had a disagreement with a member of the board or a member of the CAC, how would you handle that?
A disagreement on an issue. First thing is boil down to like facts. Right? Get rid of the opinions and the subjectivity, get down to the facts and what is really the best solution. There's usually one way that's the way, so works for the best benefit. Try to come to some. Either if I believed in what I was progressing, I would have a debate like that.
Okay, that's all for me.
Director Fick.
Several questions. One, I'm curious, what's the big logistics company in LA? Parsons or what?
The Big Brown, UPS.
Oh, okay. That's a good one.
Mhm.
Okay, now,
Great company.
in here you say president of TWP Lab. My question is, what is a TWP Lab?
That's the name of my company, it's Tree of Water and Power.
Tree water?
Tree of Water and Power.
Okay, and what does your company do?
One of our work is it's a mounting system. It's a fractal tree for leaves. And one of the concepts is integrating it with atmospheric water generators. That's where it gets the water in the name.
Thank you.
Well, Ari, although he's an occasional visitor to the farmer's market, when he comes, he's there for a long time. He sits with us for quite a long time, so I have a sense of who he is. I know he's a very thoughtful guy, and as long as you can generally get along with our mission and our values is listed over there, and we put them on the agenda twice a month. As long as you're comfortable with those, which I occasionally at these meetings, when I have to make a decision, I refer to them myself. Yeah, I think I've heard plenty, and I know you well enough to have confidence that you're going to be a good addition, as well as Fred, I hope. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there a motion from the board? Is there any other public comment, by the way, on this? Is there a motion from the board to appoint applicant Fred and applicant Ari to the Joshua Basin Water District Citizens Advisory Council?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Thank you very much. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No opposition. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I promise not to let you guys down.
Oh, thank you.
Unless I absolutely have.
No, you won't. Reports and comments. These are for information purposes only on subjects not covered by the agenda. No action will be taken. The board may provide staff with requests for future agenda items. We have the directors going first.
Sir.
Oh, okay, Vice President Doolittle.
Nothing from me.
Oh. Director Fick, or change?
Let's see, I'm trying to remember the date that it happened. October 26th, I think it was, Hobby Water Agency meeting, and they had a presentation workshop about what was called the West Victorville banking system. That's just paraphrasing. I couldn't locate my little report in my book. But anyway, yeah, what they did is they got a $12.8 million grant to start a water banking system in Northwest Victorville area. And it's mostly for in service to the Barstow, Newberry Springs areas. So it's to the north. But where they put the water for banking is it can be shared towards our pipeline if they make an effort. And this is a pilot study situation. And what it is to put a buffer of what would be pre-banking water so that when we get into slightly drier years from the Delta, that they can audit, or what's the word for it? Well, yes, that would be it. They could pump up more water out of the storage area. And what they're doing is they're storing between 22,000 acre feet and 68,000 acre feet. That would be their buffer amount. And of course, this involved with pumping and up and down the water. So I guess that's not too cost efficient, but it's just to stabilize the constant draw, because they point out that the demand is pretty constant and the supply is not as constant as what they want. So that's what they're doing. And it's going to cost up to 40 to 50 million eventually. And that would be, 30 million or 28 million would be covered by the Mojave Water Agency, or more grants if they get more grants. So that was about it, as far as I remember on the MWA.
Thank you. Director Short.
Oh, I've got nothing.
Same here, except there's a California law, I think it's AB 123 or something like that, AB 1234. It requires certain kinds of specific training. In this case, it was ethics training that all the directors have to go through about every 2 years, I believe it is. And so it's a good refresher. And caution to anybody that hasn't taken it yet. It can be grueling. It's a 4-hour experience with a lot of reading and testing and stuff like that. But I did pass these.
You prevailed.
Yeah,
Mhm.
my brain functioned enough for that. Other than that, I have not been active other than the market. General managers report, please.
I don't have a lot tonight either, but I first want to thank everybody for being here on such a short agenda. Normally we would have pushed this to a different meeting just because it's so short, but the next CAC meeting is November 14th. It's before our next meeting. So we thought it was important that we get our members intact, and hopefully we have a quorum because we've been having a quorum issue. We also don't, to my knowledge, have CAC bylaws. So I'm working on, there's a best practices document. So I'm updating that. I'm going to bring that to the next CAC meeting to, get a little bit of the temperature of the CAC, and then we bring it to the board for review and adoption. This week on Monday, I met with Mojave Water Agency. This is about our 4th meeting discussing the pipeline contract. And we seem to be on a very similar page. It's been great discussion. I think on Monday we were there for 4 hours talking about it. It's a lot. And there's so many moving parts, and there's different agencies involved. But we all came to the consensus that we're going to bring an MOU forward for the board to probably in January to review. And that's basically just memorializing the discussions that we've been having and giving us a roadmap for the future to develop the contracts. It's going to take quite some time. So that'll be forthcoming. LEWAP is already talked about November 16th. It's been a very, very successful program for our district, so we're excited to keep it going. We have been busy wrapping up things for the end of the year, working on updating internal purchasing processes in preparation for the recruitment of our new purchasing and inventory tech. We are working with GeoViewer to update and reorganize all of the modules in there. We all inherited that from a former leadership team, and so we're taking it and really cleaning it up so we can get some great data out of there. In addition to that, we're preparing for a meeting with USGS next week, so I'll be excited to report on that in the future to learn. We're going to go over information about our aquifers and the recharge that we get from septic and levels of wells, etc. So we're excited to learn more about that. We're working on the website implementation. Lisa's been plugging away every single day. I see her in there working on it. So we're looking to make everything, cross every T and dot every I. So we have a nice website rolling out for the new year. Working on district tour planning for February, and then we're also ramping up for the end of the year audit report that will be coming to the board, I believe, the last meeting of December. Next month, you'll see on the agenda a new agenda item. It will be a project list. You've probably seen this on other agendas. These will be budget approved projects so that you can ask questions about them and get some status updates, and then have those reminders, because as time goes by, we kind of forget what was approved, and this will be a nice reminder to see what's going on. That will be coming on the first board meeting of every month, because if we do it twice, there may not be a lot of status updates that quickly. And lastly, we participated in the Great Shakeout last Thursday, and it was eye-opening. We learned a couple of things. So we do take emergency preparation seriously, and staff got involved and worked out some of the kinks in case something does happen. And other than that, that's the end of my reports. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Any questions or comments from the board on that?
Yeah, what is the current membership of the CAC now?
I believe this will be, well, that's an interesting question. It's always, it depends. We have a couple of members that are on there that have not attended in over a year. So we don't have the bylaws in place, and when members don't come, there's no way to off-ramp them or get them involved. So we do call them every time and try to get them to participate, but they haven't participated. So if you count those that are still technically in membership but not participating, we should be at 8 now with our 2 newest members.
Okay, so we have 6 in reality.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything further? Well.
It's a record.
I know.
I don't even have anything, which is different. Item 10, then, is there a motion to adjourn this meeting?
I'll make that motion.
A second?
I'll second.
Thank you very much. This meeting is adjourned at 6:12. Oh, and also the future director meetings are listed on the end of the agenda.